Of course, I believe Mr. President is the biggest man in this country. So if Mr. President wants to know what this money is for, I believe at that level you must be able to disclose it. I have no problem with inviting him to come and disclose all that. What I'm saying is that should not preclude EFCC from investigating, for instance, the fact that that money that was found there was duly appropriated by Congress. It was for a purpose. It was approved, I think, in 2015, from what I've read. If it was approved in 2015, this is 2017. That money has not been used for that purpose. There is a place, and the single treasury account thing is about, if the money is not spent, it should be disclosed. It should be declared to those, and maybe the Minister of Finance, that, okay, this money is still here. Was it ever disclosed? That is a big crime. If there was no bust, what would have happened to that money? It could have gone into wrong hands. So if there is an economic crime disclosed, forget about security clearance. The fact that monies were appropriated for a particular purpose and it was warehoused somewhere, it was put in prison by some persons, one person and his wife. How can you now talk about security clearance? I mean, I believe that there are institutions vested with enough powers to investigate and charge people to court.
Okay, if I could stretch that a little further, whose responsibility is it to tell Nigerians who actually owns that money to the extent that we can believe it? Because now you have this committee, you have the EFCC who made the burst, and so who should we be waiting to hear from?
Well, I believe that at this point in time, we are making a mountain out of a molehill. Those monies were in wraps, the ones we have seen. Wraps, I believe they have numbers endorsed on them. They are predominantly foreign currencies. That kind of money did not just travel by air and get to that house. That kind of money passed through the CBN.
But you heard the CBN statement.
Oh, no. Eggs must roll. If the CBN says that money never passed through us, or we were not the ones that released that money, that's what you are saying they said, now, then it means that money traveled from the US and passed through the airport here, passed through the airport there, passed through the airport here. Customs, immigration, somebody lifted that much money and passed through the whole immigration apparatus, customs apparatus, and then it landed in Ikoyi. Then it's not just the NIA Director General that should be called for investigation. All these people, how did this money enter into Nigeria? It's a lot of money. Even the President of the United States of America cannot control that amount of cash at any point in time. So if the CBN says it's not my money, it didn't pass through us at all, like everybody keeps disowning this money, then there is a big problem and a lot of heads must roll.
But looking through all of this at the moment now, because if you say they shouldn't have lumped that of the SGF and the NIA together, what do we then make of that meeting that the NIA is said to have made or had with the commission before this bust went on? And can we then say that, well, actually, this money belongs to the NIA?
No. If the NIA went secretly to EFCC to say, please don't go on with this bust, I don't think the appropriate thing was for EFCC to listen to him alone. Because if for instance the EFCC had reasonable cause to suspect that this money is here, a whistleblower has told us this particular amount of money is lying dormant at this particular place, it will be out of place for a single individual to suddenly come. I mean, the information EFCC had was probably that, so person put this money there. Now, you come, a government functionary, to another government agency, and you say, don't go ahead with it, don't go ahead with it. Of course, if I was Magu, I would not listen to him. I would make sure that the bust goes on. I probably would not. I will make sure that it doesn't come into media the way it did. And so that if there are other issues to be sorted out, before we then arrest people, get people charged, we would have sorted that out at presidency level. Maybe all the clearance that Maokwe was talking about, we would have gotten all the clearance that we saw this money. We feel that the money should not be there. Under no circumstance. This money must have been appropriated for something in 2015. 2 years thereafter, billions of naira that would have impacted the lives of Nigerians positively is still lying dormant. And you say it's for a security purpose. What kind of security purpose?
Now, we have these two scenarios.
Yes.
The Babachir Lawal, and then you have the NIA boss, all being presented at the same time. Does this further crystallize the fight against corruption, or does it bring confusion to the equation?
I believe it brings confusion to the equation. For instance, the confusion is this: why lump the two together? I mean, it's why do you want to? I mean, it's like bringing water, trying to mix water with palm oil. There are two different issues. For Maokwe was right in saying, look, there are security issues involved in the NIA matter, for which clearance must be sought and obtained before certain disclosures will be made. In Babachir's case, it's a case of having a company, incorporating a company, and using that company to get contracts under the presidential initiative on Northeast, to get a contract for yourself as a serving government functionary, which is against your oath of office. And then certain steps were taken, obviously, to cover up his tracks by resigning, but remaining the sole signatory or a signatory to the account of that company. That is an open and closed case of breach of fiduciary responsibility, because his position, it carries fiduciary responsibilities to the government and to the Nigerian people. But the other one, which is about NIA, you are talking of security clearance. Okay, certain disclosures cannot be made. Those disclosures can be sought and obtained at presidency level. All the security apparatuses can come together. This money, is it proper that we say there's a crime disclosed? Should that be done? Can this man stand trial for this? What he's doing, is it proper in the eye of the law? Now, that should not be in public domain. But the Secretary to the Government of the Federation is an open and closed case, and it has been in public domain for a long while. And the government was alleged to be spraying deodorant to kill that kind of corruption in the presidency. It has caught up with the presidency now.
Well, that's where we'll have to anchor. Mr. John Oloyede is a legal practitioner, and thank you for talking to us today on the program. We'll be back in a moment and turn our attention to another matter, also of equal importance. Do join us again.